Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up JoeBiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Insurrection podcast.
One, two, three, four.
Hey, this is D Knight.
This is Carol.
This is Ty.
And you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. I know we've been gone a long fucking time, but we back, bitches. We are back in power like, I don't know, Lula down in Brazil. He's having quite a time. He's having a wonderfully delightful experience down there in Brazil, being back in power after a number of years. But we'll get to that eventually.
They call me Lula. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, look, one thing I applaud Brazil for doing in the handling of his business is that they were like, oh, we have our own insurrection, huh? Well, we gonna lock these motherfuckers up day one. Now, there's probably some details we could get into about their lack of preparedness, whether that was purposeful or not. That's another story entirely. Anyway, been a couple weeks since the band's been back, or since the band was together. Carol was out of the country. No, she wasn't like fleeing the FBI or fleeing like some lawsuit from some dumbass South Florida lawyer.
No, but there are strict procedural guidelines about being in the same country to record a remote podcast. So we just couldn't.
I mean, we could have, but like the time difference is weird. Like we would have to do it at like 2:00 in the morning or something for you to like get up in the morning. And
I'd be like, I'm coming to you live from the bathroom of a hotel room where I'm trying not to speak too loud because my kids are sleeping.
Yeah, you're like out of the country with the husband and kids in a hotel room. I don't feel like that's very conducive for making a podcast. Although, like there have been stranger things happen in the podcast world. Yeah, so a lot of news has taken place in the last couple of weeks. I feel like, namely, well, number one on the list, the January 6th committee finishing their work, dropping the report. For any of you out there who have yet to read it, I had planned on doing a multi-episode series breaking down summarizing the report. I had intended on having an episode or two done by now, but if you have read the thing, what you will immediately notice is it's quite dense. There's a lot of important information in there. It's taking me a little time to sort out what's most noteworthy, getting that together. I'll get that out to you soon.
See, poor D thought asking a lawyer to be on his podcast like I would do all this hard work, and he'd get to be the comic relief. And I'm like, oh no, I didn't read it. And he's like, what?
Also, Carol's not that type of lawyer.
I mean, I'm the type who can read I'm I'm sure I could read dense documents. That's.
Well, okay, the report though, it's
not the kind who wants to read that.
What,
I will.
What
I'm totally going to read it too. My dog ate it. Luna ate the documents.
Well, it's not dense in legalese. It's really narrative. It's narrative focused, but there's just a lot of information and a lot of ties, and they give a lot of background, and they get into specific testimony, and they get into some of the statutes that they think were violated, and the referrals, and it's a lot. It's a lot for anyone to sit down and digest, and I totally get that. And plus the format that it was released in, like as just like a reading experience, is tough. So I just, have have an idea about how to tackle that and make it digestible for everyone. Not everybody wants to spend like, $20 on the audiobook. So I want to,
That's
just make it easy for everyone to access the information in a digestible manner. I'll get to that.
I guess that's a happy medium between the $20 for the audiobook versus going into Adobe Acrobat.
Yeah.
And having it read to you like conspiracy to defraud the United States. The committee argued that this happened in multiple ways, including Trump's lies about the 2020 election, then Vice President Pence's role in the certification, among other issues.
Well, yeah. That's exactly what it sounds like too.
Yeah, because if I'm really tired, sometimes I make it read work I'm reading just to in case I'm like, nope, I have to also have it playing. So I'm like laser focused.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Well, you did a perfect impression because that's what the AI voice sounds like. It's fucking terrible. And it just reads it monotone and all the words are together. It's like a fucking nightmare listening to that shit. Not that I'm like an exceptionally great listen either, but I'm better than that thing. The two things I can guarantee you that I'm better than is like the AI voice and Chuck Todd.
Yeah. And I should credit PBS. I was just reading right off my screen there.
Good job, Carol. Proud of you. Yeah, we also had that other fantastic news, as you alluded to, Andrew Tate. His ass is going to prison. Thank you, Greta, for doing your part to further protect the climate by taking one asshole and his 33 cars off the street with a single tweet.
Andrew Tate's in the hospital.
Is he?
Yeah. I read that, and then
is that some kind of ploy to get out of prison?
He said a lung problem.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. All right.
Is the lung problem Shiv related?
Percy said he smoked too many cigars. So
okay. Breaking news: Andrew Tate also in the hospital. I hope once he gets out of the hospital, they take his ass straight back to prison. Not because he's a misogynistic asshole, but I mean that's just like the bonus. But because he's a fucking sex trafficker.
You can use the mute button, baby, this evening. Looking for that mute, baby, tonight. Or be louder, baby, this evening.
No, it's all good. I want to hear what they're talking about. I want to know.
My daughter said her boyfriend said the power went out upstairs, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, flip them circuit breakers.
I don't want to freak you out, but it was the ghost. Oh no, is it a man who lives up there? Never mind. It was the man who was hiding in a closet.
That I believe.
All right, what style is your house again?
I don't know. It's like 4,000 square feet.
I mean, from the outside, it looks like a fucking mansion.
It's a ranchon.
Yeah.
A ratchet mansion.
I mean, it definitely has like some Scarface vibes. It just like with the columns and the way, just from the exterior. I don't know what it looks like on the inside. Yeah, but it's like, oh man, it definitely have like piles of cocaine in and out of there from the looks of that thing from the outside. But like everything might look like that in your neighborhood. I don't know. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. This house sits on a hill. Everything else is like kind of white people basic.
Yeah.
But
gotcha. Okay. Well, hey, Midwestern drug lord chic.
My house is yellow.
Okay, where were we? Yeah, Andrew Tate got him off the street. That's fantastic news.
I hope he gets, what he deserves.
Yes, many a year in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that everyone that Elon Musk let back on Twitter ends up in jail. That's what I'm hoping for. And we're doing pretty good so far.
Well, you know what never helps those people?
What's that?
Sharing their thoughts publicly.
That's it's totally fair.
Well, some of them, I mean, it's helping them to an extent, but it's funny. I don't know why, but I listened to a Joe Rogan quote today talking about Andrew Tate's arrest. And he's like, I just have to, or maybe it was his guest who was like, I just have to think like he's a smart guy. So why would he be, if he was doing all these terrible, horrible things, like why would he have such a brash public personality about it? I'm like, because if he's doing those things, he's probably a psychopath and he's like has reckless risk taking, and like, you know, that's part of the behavior of someone who would run a sex trafficking ring. Like,
it's very Trumpian, right? Like the idea that this person is engaged in this type of behavior, but it's just reckless and like reckless in the way they talk about these things publicly. It's very Trumpian. Like Trump has been known to basically confess to his crimes in public. Although, like to some degree, that could be like a legal strategy. When you're like greasing the slide, you're making these admissions in public, so it's not some kind of gigantic ordeal. Like, imagine if like Nixon had just came out and been saying the shit he was saying in private the entire time, as opposed to, you know, we find there were some secret fucking tapes, right? And it's this whole ordeal to get the tapes, and the tapes are damning. Well, if he'd just been like saying the shit in public, it would have been such a gigantic deal.
Yeah, I mean, I could sort of see the argument there. Yes, adding obstruction of justice and like wire fraud is better.
That's totally fair.
Than doing that.
Totally. Where'd Ty go? Is Ty, you alive? Where'd you go?
Oh, I had to give my daughter, I had her registration.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had just thought about it right now to give her the registration to put on her car because of where we live.
Yeah, we definitely don't need her getting pulled over by the police.
Exactly.
There's so many different ways that could go wrong. Because I was watching that video of that police officer that had the black girl in custody, and he just started hammering her for no reason. I was like, this is severely distressing.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, got dark there. Apologize. Take this into a different direction. All right. So
we just talk about news. It's not your fault. A lot of it is depressing.
Well, I mean, in fairness to me, I do pick the most depressing news to cover in the podcast. I mean, that's kind of the point.
Well, all news right now is depressing.
Oh man, in some ways, depending on how you look at it. Case in point, it's very depressing that Republicans took control of the House of Representatives. But what's not depressing is the fact that they cannot get their act together and they are total disasters. Absolute shit show dumpster fire of a party there in taking a record. Well, I mean, I guess it's not technically a record, but taking 15 votes to finally elect Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. The last time it took more than one vote was 100 years ago. Was it 1923? I do believe.
Well, that was when they had the most, I think, after the Civil War.
Right. So the last time it took more than one attempt at a vote to nominate the Speaker of the House was in the 20s, as in the 1920s. The last time it took this many votes to select the Speaker of the House, we immediately had a civil war afterwards. So that should let you know where things are heading. If you want to know what to look forward to, you look back at history and like, oh, where are the parallels? All right, let's go back to the 1850s. It took, a dozen times to nominate a Speaker of the House. What immediately followed that? All out war. Brother fighting against brother. Millions of Americans dead after that. So yeah, that should cheer you up. Something to look forward to.
Thanks for helping to brighten it up after you made it dark.
You're more than welcome. Look, if it's any consolation, right? There are worse. If there was a way for Republicans to take control of the House, and if there was such an ideal scenario, it would be this, right? Where their majority is so slim, the crazy people will be causing just havoc among the party and keeping them from putting up any kind of organized opposition to the Biden administration, right? Just be a complete dumpster fire for the next 2 years. Yeah. Like, we can contrast that with when the House was run by Democrats for 2 years and all the work that Joe Biden got done in his administration, and be like, oh, well, now you see what it's like if you give Republicans power, they don't know what to do with it. All they can do is create a fucking mess. Is that what you want in 2024? What you want for the future? They don't have a plan. They're not for anything. All they do is create havoc.
And they start cage matches and then don't let them come to fruition. Like, I wanted to see who won in a fight between Matt Gaetz and whoever that guy who
Mike Rogers
tried to talk. Mike Rogers. That he needed to be pulled away by his mouth for like going near him.
I mean, I feel like it was almost like watching a football game because I think he got like stiff arm before someone like grabbed his face. That's pretty incredible. Yeah. So in case you missed it, so in one of the, I think it was like vote number 14 for Kevin McCarthy. Matt Gaetz is one of the final holdouts, and he voted present instead of, voting for a candidate or voting for McCarthy, which left McCarthy one vote shy of becoming speaker. Whatever deal McCarthy made with Gaetz, apparently Rogers was not pleased with Gaetz not following through on his end. And he basically attempted to assault Gaetz. but he was stopped short of that by his fellow House Republicans. Of which,
to me, it looked like he was just going over there and like yell at him, and they were like, "Shut your mouth, man!" And, like, it looked like they were. I don't know.
I think he was gonna choke him because he looked irate, and like there was someone. I don't know who it was. I couldn't exactly tell from the angle, but I posted a picture of it. It's like, oh, it's just a hand like on Mike Rogers' face, just like grabbing him, like and pulling him back. It was incredible. And then you're like, oh, will he lose the toupee? Will the wig come off? And like we were taking bets. It's fun times. Yeah, so that's what you have to look forward to from Republicans for the next 2 years. Utter chaos, I would imagine. Like they wanted power so bad, now they got it. They don't know what to do with it.
Well, let's see how many of them, remain. Hopefully some of them will get arrested or indicted at least.
It's funny you bring that up. We have one House Republican, George Santos, who we're not even sure if that's his real name. Also an incredible experience watching him vote for speaker over the past few days. So in calling for votes, it is hilarious because they'd be like, oh, George Santos. And he'd just be like fumbling around doing his thing. And they'd be like, George Santos. And he'd be like, oh, yeah, Kevin McCarthy. My bad. Yeah. So
it's like that one of the best episodes ever of The Simpsons, Cape Fear, where they're trying to reprogram Homer to like learn the name he's supposed to be using in witness protection. And they're like, all right, so you'll be Mr. Thompson. They're like, okay, hello, Mr. Thompson. Hello, Mr. Thompson. Hello, Mr. Thompson. And he's like, I think he's talking to you.
Carol's a Simpsons fan. I used to watch all the episodes. I think I slowly, weaned myself off after like season 6. It went downhill. Now they're on like season 30. I'm behind. No, we're not entirely even sure George Santos is even his real name, and he's apparently facing some campaign finance violations at least, and at worst maybe. I mean, if not outright fraud, like I'm fairly certain that lying about your identity to be elected to Congress is probably not kosher.
Oh, so you're only talking about the crimes he's facing in New York, in the U.S., not in Brazil.
Yeah,
right?
he's also been supposedly under criminal investigation in Brazil for fraudulent activities. I mean, Google that. It's a whole list of fun criminal activities. We're not even entirely certain that he's an American citizen. So yeah, that could have some consequences. I feel like that. Should information come forward to suggest that he's
oh God, are we demanding his birth certificate?
Yeah, you beat me. I just want President Obama to hold a press conference demanding he gets to see George Santos's birth certificate. That'll be great. Yeah, but I feel like that's like automatic expulsion from the House. I don't even know if they have to vote for that. Like, I just feel like you should just get the fuck out. Yeah, that was great. He is the one who's facing the most obvious jeopardy as far as like his legal future is concerned. We do have a number of Republicans in the House who are also, well, if you've read the January 6th report, you will see that a handful of Republicans for certain were meeting with Trump to discuss the fake elector plot. Most notably, Rick Scott. If he doesn't sound familiar to you, just hit the Google button. Rick Scott, fake electors, read up on that. I am absolutely certain he has a target on his back. So let's say we're looking at a House split with 212 Democrats and also, is it 224 Republicans? No, math is hard. All right, say Santos down, Rick Scott down. That's 222. We only need 4 more Republicans indicted and unavailable to vote. And thanks to the new rules that they're voting on, which I'm sure they'll pass some version of, it only takes a vote by one member to recall the Speaker of the House. I don't think Kevin McCarthy is going to have his job this entire 2 years. Like, now people are suggesting, hey, Jack Smith, he's going to indict hundreds of, and it's entirely possible, maybe tens or dozens of House representatives go down for the fake elector plot. I guess being optimistic, that's a number you can aim for, but I think my expectations are at least 4. Rick Scott and his cohorts who met with Trump December of 2020. And add Santos, we only need 1 more. So fingers crossed for that hopefully inevitable outcome. Maybe we'll get the House back before the 2024 election. Can hope for that.
There's always COVID.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Diamond, notably of Diamond and Silk, is no longer with us. Yeah, I can't really shed a tear for that one. All right, Todd, you brought the story to our attention. Like, do you know exactly what it is was the cause of death when it is for Diamond?
From
COVID related?
what I've read, she contracted COVID and now she's dead.
Should have got vaccinated. Let that be a lesson to you. Don't be out here taking the fucking horse dewormer. It doesn't work, guys. Get your shot. Get 2 shots if you haven't had any. Get 3. Get a ask if you can take a couple needles home with you, just like to shoot up with the vaccine for fun. It's better than ivermectin. Doesn't do anything for you. Take all the vitamin C you want. That's not really going to stop any COVID. I mean, I guess if you're vitamin C deficient or zinc deficient, like do your best to get up to some minimum levels of protection there. But yeah, take your COVID vaccine. I got mine. Guess what, guys? I haven't gotten COVID yet. Now, I know that's probably not entirely due to the vaccine, but I'm sure it helped.
Well, you haven't died. That's the good thing.
I'm here. Diamond ain't.
That's
Former President Trump broke the news in a message Monday night on his Truth Social site.
Yes, he did.
Our magnificent Diamond. Diamond's death was totally unexpected. Probably her big and precious heart just plain gave out, Trump wrote. I'm reading this from the Daily Beast. Anyway.
I mean, do you want me to read it? And I can do the wacky limited fake Trump impression. Wait, give me a second to practice. I'm rusty. Hillary Clinton. All right, I think I got it. Really bad news for Republicans and frankly, all Americans. Our beautiful Diamond of Diamond and Silk has just passed away at her home in the state she loves so much, North Carolina. Silk was with her all the way, and at her passing, there was no better team anywhere or at any time. Diamond's death was totally unexpected, probably her big and precious heart. Big and precious, just plain gave out. Rest in peace, magnificent Diamond. You will be greatly missed, and we will make America great again. Again. Right? That's
Again.
yeah,
Again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like her heart didn't give out. I mean, I imagine if she went into cardiac arrest, it had to be, it wasn't just like a random occurrence. Although I guess, I mean, maybe she plays cornerback for the Buffalo Bills because, you know, that apparently that's a possibility. You could just make a random tackle and you go into cardiac arrest. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I'm bringing the podcast down again. I apologize. I apologize.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm going to sleep.
You poor thing. Did we wear you out already?
Part of this segment of Part in the Insurrection where Ty falls asleep.
All right, we're doing our best. Giving our best efforts to get a bed sponsorship. Like if anyone wants to like supply the podcast host with like your best mattress, we'll rate it and review it, and we'll recommend it to all of our listeners out there. I'm a memory foam guy. I know like some people like the padded topping thing. I just like the foam all the way down. Just give me inches and inches of foam and let me sink into it. You know, I don't know what particular type of mattresses you two have.
I have the Tuft and Needle, which is foam, but I would be open to trying other brands. I would be open to seeing other mattresses.
Yeah.
I like foam though.
Yeah, I'm a foam guy.
But if Casper wants to, you know, step in there.
We're not going to get a Casper sponsorship. We're going to have to start off.
Find one of the ones with fiberglass lawsuits against them then.
Yeah. Hey, I listened to this sports podcast. I think I've told you this before, like the Levitard show. And they have this sponsorship with Sheets and Giggles. It's pretty fucking terrible name. But it's quite funny.
Are they adorable sheets?
I mean, I feel like they're pretty quality. They look nice and apparently.
But is it like, do they have a joke element? Like, why is it and Giggles? Like, is there a?
It's a play on Shits and Giggles.
Yeah, but okay, but the play doesn't actually relate to the product, except that they're sheets. Like, they're not sheets with comic strips on them, or like.
No,
some funny, like booby prints or like
no. The sheets are actually kind of they're. I mean, I won't say they're like high price linens or anything. But they're very nice looking.
Hey, I love you guys.
And that concludes the part of the show that Ty is on today. Mwah, I love you.
Oh, sleep sweet.
Ty sweepy. She's a sweepy.
Yeah, well, you know, look, we all have our tired days. I have plenty where I'm crashing.
Yeah, it's hard to find any real information on Silk's death, by the way. I guess no one really cares, is the word. So
no one cares about Silk.
Sorry, Diamond. Or Silk.
You don't know which one is which, do you? Do you know what they look like, Carol?
Well, yes, because I had conducted a Google search.
Well, do you know which one is Diamond and which one is Silk?
Unless these articles are all extremely poorly mapped out, I assume it's the one who's in all of the header photos. Otherwise, they're all really bad journalists.
Well, Diamond's usually the one on the left, and Silk is usually the one on the right. So
yeah.
That's that. And like, I'm not being ironic. I'm like legit. Every time I look at photos of them, Diamond's on the left and Silk is on the right. It's like they choreographed the shit like in every photo. It's hilarious. But yeah,
I guess they're worried that people won't be able to tell them apart.
Well, I mean, they don't really.
Look, we read from left to right. It's Diamond and yeah. But now Silk Butt has really got to change the name of the Twitter page. Is there
change it to Silk?
Elon, do we have like a strike through font? I think this is of utmost importance. Out of sensitivity, you need to add a strike through font so she could just cross out Diamond and.
I think that's the option. Like you can format the text to do that on
Great.
Twitter. Yeah.
I'll send her a DM and tell her how.
I don't think now's the time.
I'm not planning on any
Actually
more cruelty.
DM,
That's not icing.
Yeah, I wouldn't DM them for that. I would post that publicly.
I started to feel sad and mean, so I stopped that line of thought.
You're a better person than I am.
My bad joke. Maybe. Probably not.
Yeah, if I want to like be awfully cruel and mistreat terrible people, I don't do that privately in their DMs. I like do that publicly in their mentions because I'm a jackass. Yeah, so let's see, what other fun news do we have going on? Kevin McCarthy sacrificing the Office of Congressional Ethics in his bid to become Speaker. That's great. There'll be no congressional oversight, or at least not in the House.
Could there be any more on the nose symbolism than that?
Yeah, look, they're like, oh, we're gonna hold the swamp accountable, and then they, basically get power and immediately fill the swamp. Yeah, perfect example of what you get with these people. I mean, it's not that I'm rooting for chaos, but I don't think they'll ever, because they don't have any collective interests. All of their interests, the only time their interests are aligned is when it comes to obtaining power, and now they got that, they don't have any direction. And I believe that they'll spend the next 2 years going at each other's throats.
I would hope so. Unless the other option is like governing appropriately and fairly.
I mean, I don't think they could do that even if they wanted to.
No, of course not. But I just wanted to make clear, I would rather have a functioning government with bipartisanship, but like that wasn't an option.
I mean, as would I. And I feel like with the bar for a motion to dismiss being so low, it's almost impossible for them to pass any bipartisan legislation, because the second McCarthy decides he's going to negotiate with Democrats, the right-wing nut jobs, I mean, all it takes is one Marjorie Taylor Greene to be like, all right, that's it for you, Kev. You out the door. And that's got the potential for breaking the government. Obviously, we have to pass this. Obviously, we'll have to, pass legislation to raise the debt ceiling here soon. I can't imagine that process going smoothly, given the hubbub around even getting a Speaker of the House. I mean,
yeah, we're in for a bumpy ride. I'm
not looking forward to it.
No. I was hoping we could have nice things for a while.
We can't, because Republicans like to break things.
Well, they only like to break our things.
Well, that was the case until, just a couple weeks ago, where they decided to break their own party.
Well, I mean, what could go wrong with inviting a bunch of lunatics into your group? Surely they will never turn on us.
If we're talking about the same lunatics that tried to kill Congress a couple of years ago, yeah. What could go wrong, right? Of course they would never attempt such a thing again.
Hey, if you were trying to help that happen again, would you take out the metal detectors from the Congress? Sorry,
okay.
I heard those were taken out right away, so that's good. But I feel like that's just more of a fuck you to.
Okay, so as soon as the previous Congress, as soon as that session was over and the new Congress was supposed to vote for a speaker and be sworn in, apparently someone made the decision to remove the metal detectors from the Capitol building. No one knows who would be responsible for giving that order, but I can't imagine, given that there was no speaker at the time, that Kevin McCarthy had the authority to have that ordered. But it happened. Luckily, I suppose on the anniversary of 1/6, we didn't have some horrific event happen because security wasn't prepared and there were no metal detectors. But I mean, I guess we dodged a bullet. I wouldn't quite say I am friendly with one newly sworn in Democratic representative, but I DM the guy on occasion, and I was like, "Hey, man, about those whole metal detector things. I'm not saying you should be worried, but just in case, keep your head on the swivel." I feel like what a world we're living in when I'm like, "Hey, I like the work you do. You're one of my favorite representatives. I don't want anything to happen to you. Be wary of the fact that there's no metal detectors at your job." Like, what the fuck?
And I guess it's only for like people who work there, right? It's not like the general public doesn't still have security.
No, yeah, it's for staff, members of Congress, and whatnot.
Yeah, but yeah, it is a statement about our our social discourse or political discourse and temperament now, that you have to be scared to go to work if you work in politics. And also, like, I wrote my rep an email, right? My new rep, Mike Lawler, he's a Republican and in a usually liberal district in New York. And
yeah, mistakes were made.
While I was like writing it, I was like, what if he doxes me on Twitter or something like that? And then like, you think like, well, a representative can't do that, like a representative of Congress. And nothing happened. Just like, it's crazy that I even have to think that when I'm like writing a letter to my representative, like, but it's not that crazy.
Yeah, you say it's crazy to think that, but I mean, there's been a number of election officials put in the spotlight by Republicans. Ruby Freeman is an example. Trump recently made some, oh, good God, I can't believe I have to say this. He truthed some statements about Ruby Freeman, bringing her back into the spotlight again, just sending his minions to harass her. So the idea that like your representative would do something to put the spotlight on you and with malicious intent, it's not crazy. It's not insane. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Like it's a totally feasible situation you could be in. And that's the thing, right? And you're like, oh, why don't you use your name more often on the way? Because I know the bad guys is out there. I know they're out there. And I'm sure they would love to take as many pieces off the chessboard as possible. And doxing is a way to go about that. I mean, look, if anybody wants to, look me up, I'm not hard to find. Half my name is in my handle, and obviously that's my real picture on the internet. Like, you could find me if you really wanted to. Speaking of which, there was that one time that someone actually did find me from the federal government. That was fun times.